Today I'd like to start a very great, not great at all, new series for the channel. This is a great big step. It's not actually a big step, I'm totally kidding. Um, but it's called A Very Bad Review. And it's exactly what it sounds like. A terrible, awful review of literally anything. You know, it could be a game, it could be a TV show, but right now, the first edition, very first, I wanted to start off with something that hits real close to home. Borderlands 2. It's one of the most featured games on my channel. It's definitely my most favorite game in the entire world. I mean, I have tons of hours spent on this game because it's so goddamn good. These are going to be done live, unscripted, just 100% whatever comes to mind about whatever it is. So, you know, 1 minute I could be doing a fucking, you know, episode about a video game like this one, Borderlands 2, and the next thing you know, a few days, doing one about like a movie that most people think is shitty, like fucking what, Suicide Squad. By the way, a little bit of exposition. Wait, fuck, no, not exposition. What? No, that was just, no, that was hinting at something. I'm very sorry about that. That was really fucking stupid. Whatever. Alright, but to start, yeah, Borderlands 2 is probably the greatest game ever. And if you disagree, you're wrong, and you should feel bad. Because it's fucking great. It's very innovative. Of the first-person genre, of the loot, you know, games based around loot. It basically set the best foundation for loot in video games. It sort of revolutionized it, or I don't really know what the best word for it is, but it made loot in video games loot in video games, if you can dig it. It's definitely probably the most fun game I've ever played, which is, you know, it's my favorite. And it's very different from really anything. It's hard, but it's also easy, and it all depends on, you know, who you play as, what you're used to doing in video games, and how you usually play video games. It's very different with basically everything that you can be different with. You know, do you want to kill everything super fast, or do you want to play online with people and, you know, save their ass? Like I actually need sitting right now. I really fucked that up. That's good. Should change my words. This game has the greatest loot system in any video game ever. It's super complex. I mean, there's tons of different possible variations. I mean, it's like nothing you've ever seen. All these weapons, totally different from one another in so many regards. Back to what I said about its difficulty. It's hard, but it's easy. And what I mean by that is, at the very start of the game, when you start out, it's very easy. You know what to do. You shoot the bad guy, you pick up their stuff, wash, rinse, repeat. But later on in the game, it does, you know, tend to get difficult. And it also sort of revolutionized, well, I wouldn't say revolutionized, but it definitely refined the side mission. You know, the side quest. You got your main quest, you got the story of the game, which is going to take, you know, a pretty big chunk of your playtime out. But you also have a ton of side missions, and you even have a few small side stories within said side missions, such as cult following or clan war, which are two sets of quests which branch off from the main story. They also provide an extremely high amount of exposition, I guess you could say, for the game. such as Clan War, you know, talking about Ellie and Moxie and Scooter, you know, with the hoodums. I don't know, you'd have to actually, you know, play them to know what I'm talking about, but still. God, this guy is really hard to kill for some reason. But, you know, True Vault Hunter steps things up a notch or two, but it doesn't make the game super difficult. The time when it really gets super difficult is Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, and you really have to know what you're doing. Like, you have to take every single little thing you absorb, you know, from just playing the first two modes to actually understand and know what's going on. You have to be very focused, like I am not right now. Fucking damn, how do I get back in here? I hate this fucking side mission, man. No clue what I'm doing right now. Yeah, talk about having to know what you're doing, and then turn around and you see this bullshit. Okay, fucking hell. Fuck my whole damn shit up. But yeah. Back to what I was saying. You can have, I mean, you can have so much time. This is really weird. I mean, this is the first episode of, you know, something that's gonna maybe span very long. It's also something different for me. But fuck, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, you have to stay focused. Like, and it may look, you know, pretty easy. All I'm doing is shooting these dudes. And you know, that is, you know, really the basis of what you need to do. You know, you shoot the bad guys to progress. Maybe pick up some stuff, you know, that you need to pick up. It's pretty understandable, you know. It's understandable. You have a nice day. But there are a lot of things you have to look out for, like, you know, do I have good loot? You know, are my guns not, you know, out leveled? You know, is my shield large enough? Does my class mod fit with the way that I want to play? Etc., etc. And there's a lot of different variations in the different forms of loot. Like, you don't just have guns. You know, you have a shield, you have your class mods, you have your relics, and you have your grenades, and of course your guns. And these all coincide with your skills and who you're playing as. Like right now, I'm playing as the Gunzerker, and I feel like he's the easiest person to play as because, well, for one, he's a tank. I don't really have a lot of the health skills. I have more of the, you know, kill everything skills, especially based on his action skill. But Salvador's the tank, so, you know, you take damage, you deal it right back out, you know, bada bang, bada boom. So he's really the easiest to sort of, I don't know, morph into someone to play as, because it's not really focused on one specific thing. Well, it sort of is, you know, just take damage, deal it back out. And that's really all you have to focus on, but you can spec it so many different ways. Like for some characters, such as Axton, the way you play Axton specific, or you just don't play him. Like you have to have like certain types of loot. You know, you have to have a very specific way you spec your points. Otherwise, you're just not gonna have as good of a time playing as him, because he's a, you know, he's a pretty different character, I would say. He's more advanced. He's harder to play as, while compared to somebody like Salvador, where, you know, you can wield two of any gun, so you just run around with two rocket launchers and fuck everything up. You don't have to worry about it. But Axton can be spec'd so many different ways, but you always have to focus on one specific thing. Like for instance, Tedior Axton. All you do, so you have to have a bunch of different forms of Tedior weapons. Like, you know, you want to have a very important, I'd say 0, but I guess there's a bit of argument. I would say a very focused character, but he's not as much focused on the loot that you pick up as Axton is. You can play him as a melee character, and you can spec that a few, you know, 1 or 2 different ways. Or you can play Zero as a character based on his action skill, and you can get a cooldown relic to work well with you. And that's a pretty good way to play him. If you spec him correctly, and if you have the right gear. But he cannot take damage for shit. You either have to stay moving at all times or fall away from your enemy, but you cannot, you know, lag behind with Zero in any way, unless you're far away from him playing as a sniper. But we don't talk about that because you don't play Zero like a sniper, because you don't play Borderlands like a fucking sniper, unless you're an idiot. Okay, well, you know, that's debatable. But personally, I think only stupid people play as snipers because it's so much fun when you're right up in the action. And speaking of being up right in the action, most people nowadays are going to have either the Handsome Collection or they're going to own Borderlands on their PC, and they're going to have all the DLCs for it because they're a smart cookie and they know what they're doing. Especially Borderlands 2. That's the most important thing to have all the DLC for, because it has the best DLCs. And you can't argue that. And if you do, you're a fucking idiot. But the next one who's really up in the action is Krieg. He does not have a single skill tree that allows you to be far away from the action. Some might say, and they're really dumb if they do say it, but some might, you know, hold on for a second. I'm sorry about that. Why did I open up my share menu? What the fuck? Whatever. Okay. But yeah. Some might say that his Hellborn tree, you can stay a little bit far out, but it's so much better if you use the Hellborn tree with, it's so much better if you use the Hellborn tree with, the Heartbreaker shotgun, which it is a Hyperion shotgun, so you can keep some distance. But it's best to just play him as a melee character, because using a fire build does not work until you are much later in the game. I mean, you have to be able to spec him at least like 3/4 of the way through the fire skill tree for him to actually be effective, or else you're just going to keep dying of fire damage over and over and over. Because you still do take damage from fire, but the best way to play him is to focus everything on the 2 skill trees that are furthest to the left, which are, I know there's Mania, which focuses very heavily on melee, and that's it. And then there's also, I don't remember what it's called, Bloodlust, I think. And that focuses on a set of stacked, on a skill that creates stacks, and is called, as you obviously, you know, would think, Bloodlust. Lust, not lost. Bloodlust. So, you know, you build up these stacks and you'll get certain advantages. Some might, you know, require you to kill an enemy. But as long as you are dealing continuous damage, somehow you'll gain Bloodlust. And that can give you so many different advantages. Now eventually, you'll unlock the final skill if you spec into it enough, and it is called Bloodsplosion. And what it is when you have enough Bloodlust stacks, whenever you kill an enemy, they'll explode with whatever element that you killed them with. Non-elemental being explosive damage. And based on however many, fuck, what was I gonna say? Based on however many, yo, holy shit! Oh, it's like a legendary head or some shit. based on however many bloodlust stacks you have, you'll do an extra amount of damage with the blood explosion, and it has a relatively good blast radius. But what you really want to focus on is doubling that with the mania skill tree to be really close to everybody, and you'll get them all grouped up around you and whatnot. And use the final skill of the mania tree, which is you turn into a mutated badass psycho, and you gain a bunch of extra melee damage and a bunch of damage reduction. And you want to do everything you can to increase your melee damage, so you can kill an enemy in maybe 2 or 3 hits, if you're smart enough, and if you know what you're doing as Creed. Because he's one of those characters where you have to know what you're doing, you know, at all times. You have to know how to spec him, you have to know what to do, or else you're just going to end up with like a really low shield capacity while you're losing like a plain Nova shield or something. Well, not a low shield capacity, recharge rate. So you're going to have to wait like 12 seconds or some shit to, you know, get your Nova back. It's not going to be real fun.
So what's the emergency?
Krieg is also quite a gear focused character, and I would say it's best to always supply him with the Flame of the Firehawk, because he's going to be real up in the action. He's going to be real up, you know, close killing guys. If you use, you know, a good build, a good melee build especially, because that's what he was made for. He wasn't made to use like a bunch of guns at all times. He was made to, you know, melee people to death. That's the best thing to do. But enough about Krieg. Basically, you know, good ass melee character, best melee character, best character in the game. At least in my opinion. But yeah, just melee guys, have some good gear, you know, all that good shit. But the next character I want to talk about, who is really, honestly confusing in my opinion, is the healer Maya. Maya, I honestly can't really play her well. Probably because I don't really know how to spec her. But the thing is, you know, she's the healer, and that's really about it. You can play her as kind of a sniper, and that, you know, that's cool too. But I just can't really get into it with her. My Siren isn't very well leveled up, and that might be, you know, part of the problem. But I just never been able to really enjoy playing as her. But yeah, you can make her kind of a sniper, and you know, that's cool. You know, you use her, it's really based around her phase locking ability. You know, you phase lock an enemy and you keep sniping the crit spot over and over and over, you know, until they die. And that's pretty cool, I would say. But I just like, I mean, I've said this like 20 times, but I just can't play her, so I don't really have much to say about her. But the next character is Gage. Is she the last character to talk about? Yeah, I'm pretty sure she is. No, she's not, I'm sorry. But the next character is Gage, and Gage is, she's good, but she's not super good. She's basically another character like Zero, because Zero is not super duper good, but he's, you know, he's good. He's not like Action, where he's only got like 2 good builds, and you gotta be real high leveled up. He's kind of sucks, just a little bit maybe. I don't know why, but I like this. I like this head. Not sure why. Fuck it, I'll just use it. That was terrible. But my build for her is much more focused on her, fuck, what was I gonna call it? Oh yeah, her Death Trap ability. No, it's barely focused on Death Trap. Or is it? I don't know. I don't really know a lot about like how to spec her, but I like the way I have her. You know, spec it's pretty good. You know, it focuses a lot about her and healing and just keeping your health up. You know, the fights, you know, big fights playing as her would probably last a lot longer than with somebody like, you know, my Psycho, who I, you know, appropriately titled Best Nibba, because he's the best Nibba. Oh, shit, no, I can't play as into this part. I'm trying to farm for legendary weapons, and it's just not working for me. But I can show you the way I've spec'd him. But the way I have spec'd him, this is, I guess you could call it a level, like a 61 skill build. You know, -3, I guess just anywhere. But the way I have spec'd him is, I just kind of use whatever. But the most important part is having a class mod that allows you to deal a shit ton of melee damage. I mean a crazy fucking high amount. And Empty the Rage is good for this. You know, that shield and magazine bonus is mwah, twistline. But the real, you know, the real slugger, the real outlier is Silence the Voices. This skill I love and I fucking hate at the same time. Because I have killed myself maybe 10 times, actually probably more, using this skill. Because it's not a 12% chance, don't believe that, it's fucking stupid. It happens at random. And sometimes, you know, you'll melee yourself 4 times in a row. That has happened to me. And it has whittled my health down just like that. I mean, it's 4 hits. I didn't hit a single enemy during the fucking, you know, fight. But that's one of the most important skills. I have nothing in Hellborn because I don't have enough skill points to get to Elemental Empathy and still keep these two. And this is really the most important one, so you don't constantly die of fire damage. This one's also good, but I just don't really like Hellborn. I like to keep as many into these two as I can. This is also one of the most important skills, which is called Release the Beast. And it turns you into a badass psychomutant. And you deal a shitload of increased melee damage. And you have a shitload. Oh my god, you have so much damage reduction. That's 50%. So something that would normally do 5,000 damage, it'll only do 2,500. So, you know, it'll take twice as long for an enemy to kill you normally. Unless they're like a one-hit kill enemy, then, you know, whatever. I don't like to use Light Diffuse. Light Diffuse, you know, now isn't just isn't that good. It was good in normal mode, but once you reach true Vault Hunter mode, it's just not very, sorry about that, good. This is also important. So really you have this is important, this is important, this is important, and this is important. Those are all the important skills for a melee build, I think. About. Now an Invincible Krieg build will also require you to have Thrill of the Kill, and that means any damage that goes over what the enemy had in their health bar. So say you hit an enemy for 500 damage, but they only have, you know, 250 health. You'll have 250 health returned to you because that was extra damage. Well, I have 90% of it, but, you know, that's practically, you know, it's practically 100%. What I'm trying to say is it is a crazy amount if you're playing a melee invincibility Krieg, because you have all of this extra melee damage and it's fucking crazy. But this is also cool because, you know, I have no fucking friends that play Borderlands 2, and it's really sad and it makes me want to cry. Not really, but no, just laugh. Krieg has extra friendly fire damage, so your buddies can kill you now. I don't think they get penalized for it. It's really your fault, but whatever. Now the real important outliers in Bloodlust for me personally are Blood-Filled Guns is better than Blood Twitch, and you know, you just spec all of your shit into Blood-Filled Guns unless you have a Flacker and a really powerful Torg rocket launcher, and you can do the fucking Flacker glitch. But you probably don't have both of those, you know, once you start to put everything into the bloodlust tree, which, you know, it does take a while for it to, it's super good. So I just use blood-filled guns. You know, I can have a fucking Jacob's revolver that has like 30 fucking rounds in it, and just spam the shit out of it, and it's good. It's good. Buzz-Axe Bombardier. Basically, you'll deal like twice the amount of damage you would normally do for throwing your axe, which is pretty cool. Taste of Blood, real cool. You know, you get damage reduction, but the real outlier is the 30 stacks per kill during Buzz-Axe Rampage. So you get 3 kills and you'll automatically have 90 stacks. And that goes into Blood Trance, which is Rampage duration per stack. So you can do the Release the Beast, Buzz-Axe Rampage, which automatically will refill your Buzz-Axe Rampage. You let yourself die a little bit once you're down to 33%, and you'll probably have 3 or 4 kills, so now you'll have a really long rampage. And you'll also have Blood Explosion, which is, you know, the Nova thing, which I'll basically give you a rundown of it right here. Just let me switch to Ruby, maybe get some slag going. But now, as you can see, eventually my health is gonna go down. Just gotta wait for it. Now I'm changing the Battle Psycho. I don't have a lot of bloodlust. I'm gonna go over here to this dude and kill him. And I just, you know, I made a fucking explosion. See, and that went over and killed that dude, which went over and did a shitload of damage to that dude. And it's just watch, rinse, repeat. And you can see I only got 4 kills, 3 or 4, with that specific rampage. But now I'm gonna run through, and I have, you know, a ton of stacks. So I can come on, I can go through here and enter a really large battle, and I'll have a ton of stacks left over. Now what I can also do is, if I have the right skills, I get extra, I think I might have it, I'm not sure, but I get extra bloodlust. No, I don't have that skill right now. I don't remember which one it is. Is it... Oh, huh. Oh, no, you have to melee kill them to get the extra stacks. But yeah, so I can just keep increasing my stacks, and I keep increasing my stacks until I eventually crazy high amount. It's also good to have a Ruby and do melee, because you get, you know, extra points. Who the hell doesn't want, you know, extra health? You know, let my health whittle down. And now, look at how long this bar lasts. This is like a minute of bloodlust. It's crazy. Or Buzz-Axe Rampage still. You know, unless you fucking die, you know, that can really ruin your plans. By the way, this pistol I'm wielding, best pistol in the game, 10 out of 10 IGN, duh, you know, double penetrating against Herald. Nothing wrong with a little bit of, you know, shitload of damage. It's always good. Also, you retain blood, you know, you retain bloodlust stacks if you, you know, if you get a second wind, which is very useful for, you know, being great. And that is a Silence of Voices. That's the little hit thing that you do. And that can be so detrimental to you. I mean, it can be like crazy. Yes. But yeah, that's basically the rundown. So I'm gonna go ahead and save and quit. I'm gonna start talking about Kree. I'm gonna go into what the game has a lot of, and that is story and comedy and just general greatness. Now, if you watch my Borderlands 2 Let's Play, which is probably like, I don't know, fucking 12 hours long or some shit. It's long. It's real long. It's like ridiculously long. Sounds like I'm talking about my dick, but I'm not, because my dick is not ridiculously long. Because I'm a teenager, you know. Normally I would say that, but I'm also not a jackass. So I'm gonna switch to Gage, and I'm gonna just talk about the story. It's very compelling. It's original. I would say I haven't heard of anything like it. Now, it does recycle a lot of different, like, cliche points, and you know, it sort of mocks these, I guess, at a few points. Especially in the Campaign of Carnage DLC, Torg is very self-aware with his comedy, and basically everything that goes on in that DLC is just real funny and great. It is definitely one of my favorites. But this game has a lot of story depth. Now, there are a few plot holes here and there, but what good story doesn't have plot holes? I mean, I'm sure Star Wars has them, I'm sure Star Trek has them, I'm sure, you know, Stranger Things has them. Stranger Things is super uninspired, by the way, like, it is crazy original. But it's a good story, it's got enough plot twists, and just plot points, and it sort of keeps you, you know, sort of ingrained in it, and it's a good story to tell, like, you know, tell your friends. You know, tell your friends, hey, I got this game, it's called Borderlands 2, and it's got this real cool story, and you should totally play it and see the story, and they're like, oh man, you got this cool game, this cool story, whoa, bro. Like, whoa, yeah, man, it's got a good story and shit.
Thanks for coming out to see me. Got a fun little project for you. How do you feel about gang wars?
I also really like the memorable characters. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Every character you'll encounter, except for, you know, like super minor side characters, are memorable.
The emblems are back in the junkyard. Here's my plan. You go to Hodunk territory.
Real quick, I'm just gonna go ahead and just fuck off. Just fuck off. The characters are super memorable. I mean, it's crazy. You know, Ellie's pretty memorable. I don't really like her, honestly, to be honest. You know, you have Moxie, and you know, you have the characters you play as. You know, I feel like if you could create your own character in a Borderlands game, that just wouldn't be good. You know, you wouldn't have as much of a memorable sort of feeling compared to what you do in, you know, with, like, the lack of character customization. Fuck, why did I go do this? I did not mean to, I'm very sorry about that. Wait, no, I mean, it's not focused on the gameplay, so what the fuck ever. I'm actually gonna switch back away from Gage because I don't want to play her. Why the fuck did I choose her? What the fuck? Whatever. But the characters are really memorable. But I think the one super memorable special outlier is Handsome fucking Jack. And I'm gonna say this right now, he's the greatest villain in video game history, in my opinion. He's funny. He's a fucking genius. He's relatively cliched, but since this is Borderlands, they play it out in such a good way. I mean, like, such a good fucking way. I would say, I don't know, maybe the least memorable character. I'm trying to find a character that, you know, has, like, fun things to do, or whatever. I'd say maybe the least memorable character is, what, maybe, how about, I'm thinking, like, named characters. I would say, God, that one guy from that one mission, in the Clan Wars, like, quest line. You have to go meet him after Mick Zafford tells you to go. I Fuck it, I'll just play as Maya. But yeah, like, you know, I can't even remember any truly, you know, not very memorable characters, by the way. I totally didn't do a ton of, just, gold weapon farming, I promise. Please with me. Okay, but, yeah. Fuck, I keep forgetting what I'm gonna say shit. The quests are good. You know, I can't really think of any like super fantastical, like insane side quests at the moment, but I can definitely say that there are a lot of really good main quests. The final quest, the final battle with the warrior, so fucking fun. It's not too hard, but it's not too easy. You know, it's just the right amount of challenge. I mean, except for this little fucker. I hate Claptrap, but I love him. I'm not sure. It's weird. Fuck it. Whatever. Yeah. The fight with the bunker. Sort of closer to the end of the story, but not quite. I'm not really sure how to explain that. But the fight with the bunker is super duper good. Like, that's my favorite boss fight in the game, is the bunker, closer to the end of the story. So damn good. Yeah, I actually would like to talk about the boss fights a little bit more. They're all pretty memorable, and they're all pretty special in their own regards. Unlike Destiny, the most obvious fucking Borderlands clone ever. And nobody talks about that. Like, what the fuck? It's so obvious that Destiny is a clone of Borderlands. And it doesn't even do it as well. It's not as memorable or just generally good at all. You can obviously tell I don't really like Destiny very much, and I really like Borderlands, cause that's the truth. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, yeah. I actually don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about the boss fights. They're all sort of special in their own regard, each one is. And the raid bosses are definitely something else. Like, they're super fucking hard. And they obviously are very, you know, clearly meant to be played with friends. And I get that, but, you know, I feel like they could be just a little bit easier. Like every Destiny raid I've ever done, I did quite a few. I haven't done any like the Rise of Iron ones. But I played pretty much all. I got Destiny. It's an alright game. I played all the DLCs for it. I played all those raids, and they're alright. I don't really like them as much as Borderlands though, because they're just not as good. Borderlands is definitely the more supreme video game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can see why I titled this a very bad review. Shit. Fuck. I just entered like a fucking, you know, that video game trance that you get in when things are starting to get really intense and shit. Oh yeah. In the very first raid boss that everybody had access to is Terramorphous. At the very end of this game, the mission is literally called "You Will Die." Seriously. It's at level 50, like, no matter what. So you can obviously tell, holy shit, this is gonna be a really difficult fight. And it is. It is. The first time you ever fight Terramorphous, it's always gonna be difficult for you. like when I originally used Zero because I thought Zero was really cool because you know he was like a ninja and shit. I was like 10 maybe, because I think I rented the game actually. Like literally, I fucking rented Borderlands 2 for Redbox or something like that. But yeah, I literally I just played Zero because I thought he fucking looked cool, and then I got really pissed off at the game when I couldn't play him for shit. And then I got the game, you know, for my PS3, like 2 years later or some shit, something like that, whatever. And then, you know, I was actually really good at it, even a Zero, whatever. Now a lot of the fights in the DLCs are either a lot easier or a lot harder than Terramorphous. A good example of this is Master Yi the Invincible. Now you can either like defeat him in a totally like bitchy, illegit way where you just get a bunch of singularity grenades and you pull him so close to the gate, you know, for like the entrance, because there's a gate that you go through to, you know, actually access his quarters or his chambers or whatever. And if you go through that gate and you pull him close to it using yeah, not transfusion, what was I gonna say, singularity grenades, yeah. But if you pull him towards the gate using singularity grenades, you can actually crush him in the gate in one hit. I mean, like, straight up, just one hit, that's it. And you can get all of the normal fucking loot that you always get. But if you don't do that, and you play the fucking thing legitly, you never hear any stories of people doing that. Why? Because the boss fight is so terribly difficult. Basically what it consists of is, you know, it's normal shooting and shit. You just have to kill Master Yi. But the thing is eventually these sandworms, they will come up through the dirt and leave a huge pool of acid. And if you do not get Master Yi to walk through and extinguish the acid, it will be there for the rest of the fight. And eventually, you know, if you keep forgetting to do this, the entire arena will just fill up with acid and you'll die. And there's no way around that. Master Yi, you know, it's also in like pretty much the worst story DLC in my opinion, which is Captain Scarlet's Assault on Dragon's Keep. Just don't like it. Or what? No, fucking Captain Scarlet or Pirate's Booty, not Assault on Dragon's Keep. That's the best one. That is literally like fucking the littest one, because it's a long game of Dungeons and Dragons between Tiny Tina and the original three Vault Hunters, because one of them dies halfway through the story. I would say spoiler alert, but you had 5 fucking years to play this game, I think. Yeah, because it's 2017 and it came out in 2012. So, you know, yeah, you've had 5 fucking years to play this game. It's only halfway through. You know, I'll just go ahead and say it right now. So 3, 2, 1. It's Roland, the black dude with the turret that our accent is basically based on, but he's not as good as. Yeah, Roland dies. Handsome Jack kills him, sort of like with the same technology that Mordecai uses in his trespass skill. First Borderlands, you know, bada bing, bada boom, bada bop. That's just the shit that happens. Now, a good example of a really good fight is Pyro Pete. There is, you know, one specific thing that eventually, like, halfway through the fight, yeah, I think it's once you decrease his shield, he'll turn into Pyrocaustic Pete, and he'll have fire and acid on his side. He'll be able to use the corrosive elements, and basically he'll either affect you with acid or he'll begin to burn you, and you have to activate a sewer tunnel and walk through the water. You know, it's really gross, but you're a vault hunter. You've had worse. You know, you've been fucking shot a lot. Jesus Christ. But yeah. And you have to go through the water, and then some spider ants will come out, and, you know, you kill the spider ants and whatnot, or you just kill, or you don't focus on the spider ants, you just, you know, keep killing Pete. You know, you have to do that same shit a couple times. It's not, you know, terrible. It's a good boss fight, because Pete isn't terribly difficult to kill. He does have a lot of health, and he does have a pretty big fucking shield. But as long as you have, like, some kind of crazy good build or something, you know, which you should in Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, which is when he's actually difficult to kill. Because, you know, normally his level would be capped at 50. But yeah, if you don't have some sort of crazy good fucking build or something to kill Pete, you know, the fight's hard because you have to have a crazy good build in Ultimate Vault Hunter mode. And just, you know, in general, you should have a good build. You know, you're gonna have a bad time, but if you have a good build, you're an experienced Vault Hunter, then, you know, you can go and do raids and they're not terribly difficult. Another raid that I don't think is all that great is in the Tiny Tina DLC. I think it's sort of weirdly constructed. You fight 4 dragons, each one has a different ability to do a different sort of thing. But the one that really sucks is Helianth, because you can heal the other enemies, and you really just have to focus on killing him first. As long as you do that, the fight isn't terribly hard for, you know, a fucking raid boss. As long as you can, you know, say that a raid boss isn't terribly hard. Like, I mean, I guess I can, because I'm really good at this game. I've been playing it for almost a year now on my PS4, but I played it a lot also back on my PS3, and you know, I got really good at it then. Oh, really good shit. But now, I guess now is where my time really has sort of just begun to shine. I've gotten a lot better at the game. I've, you know, learned a lot about it. Watched a lot of guys on YouTube, you know, play it, you know, like Killer6 and Finally Puma, and they're really good at it. I've learned a lot from them, and for that I'm thankful, you know. You can go subscribe to them, by the way. They're great. They make real good fucking videos. But yeah, I think I'm done talking about the raid bosses now. Wait, isn't there a 4th story DLC? I know there's Torg, Drax. Oh yeah. There's God, I hate it so much. There's Hammerlock's DLC, and it's not fun at all. It fucking sucks. It's got a decent story. Actually, no, it doesn't. The final boss is like a raid boss, and that you're not prepared for it when you do have to play it. But it's so fucking difficult. The thing you have to fucking fight is such a bitch to kill. I swear to fucking God. Just shy away from that DLC. You don't even get anything good from it. Like, I literally, like, killed fucking Voracitus. You know, it's Voracitus, but I said Voracitus, because the DLC sucks. That's actually a pretty decent raid boss, though, you know. Actually, no, not decent. That's actually a really good raid boss, in my opinion. You know, it's good. It's good. Yeah. Okay, I'm done talking about raid bosses. I gotta stop fucking talking about raid bosses, man. I feel like it's become a fucking addiction or some shit. But yeah, what I want to talk about next is I know there's something I'm missing here. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk more about the loot system, and I honestly, I don't really think I'm gonna play a lot more because you know you've sort of seen the rundown, but I think you should play it for yourself rather than watch me do it, unless you just don't want to get the game for some reason, which honestly makes you kind of a crazy person, because this game is fantastic. Sorry about that. Okay. But the loot system is the greatest in any video game ever, and you know, I get that a lot of MMORPGs have good loot systems, but they're just not as good as Borderlands. And I swear to God, if I see a single fucking comment about Destiny's loot system being better than Borderlands in any possible way, I'll have a fucking aneurysm, I swear to God. Destiny's loot system doesn't have jack fucking shit on Borderlands. Oh, and I think I might also talk about how Destiny is a total goddamn ripoff of Borderlands. Just it's so much worse. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. But yeah, back to the loot system. You know, it's the best of any video game. It's so refined, it's so clean, you know, you usually don't get... I mean, and I know I have a video saying, like, you know, I got 2 of the same relic in one chest. Hey, you know, that's one little slip up compared to, you know, barely ever having any of that ever happen to you, ever. Unless you do copy loot, but, you know, that doesn't count. Yeah, you can duplicate weapons, by the way. It's a ting that may or may not go yeah. I feel like it has, yeah, definitely refined the way loot should be done in its white, green, blue, purple, orange format, which is also, you know, when Grandma burps, Patrick obeys, not obeys, what the fuck. And I think, what is that? Is that it's an acronym, but I think there's another word for it, and I don't know what else. And I don't remember what it is. But yeah. Now of course in Borderlands 2, and maybe Borderlands 1, you have pearlescent weapons. Pearlescent weapons are, you know, they're just extremely rare weapons that always have some sort of weird knack or ability, just like gold weapons do, or orange weapons, but oh shit, sorry. But pearlescent weapons have the bad habit of being fucking awful all the time, pretty much. You know, there's like, you have Jacob weapons that don't fire as fast as you can pull the trigger. Basically meaning you have shitty Jacob's weapons, and that's a really good example. Is the Unforgiven, yes, that's what I was thinking of. The Unforgiven Jacob's revolver. It is a normal Jacob's revolver with, I think, highly increased damage, or like maybe medium increased damage or something, it doesn't fire as fast as you can pull the trigger, basically making it shit. It's just terrible. And you also have E-Tech weapons, which are fucking great or terrible, and there's no in between. Splat guns, cool. Sniper rifles, shit. Submachine guns, cool. Assault rifles, I mean, usually shit. I don't know, there's only like... Well, yeah. Doll assault rifles are okay. But Vladov assault rifles are really good if they're E-Tech. Because you had that high rate of fire, you dig. And that's, nothing wrong with a high rate of fire with some sort of element. Because they're always elemental. What other companies do make assault rifles in this game? TDR doesn't, no. So yeah, and Jacobs doesn't make E-Tech. Neither does Torg, except for the sword explosion. But that doesn't really count because it shoots swords instead of E-Tech projectiles, but we don't talk about that. Yeah. Basically, E-Tech weapons are, they're guns that shoot, not bullets. They might shoot, like, blaster bolts, like, from Star Wars, or, like, E-Tech assault rifles. They shoot blaster bolts like Star Wars, like I just said. You watch episode 4, how the intro has pew, 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 and they shoot blaster bolts, and it's really fucking cool. They're just like Star Wars guns. But there's also splat guns, and all E-Tech shotguns are splat guns. They don't shoot a normal projectile, like normal, just like spread out pellets and shit, like normal shotguns do. No. I think there's a gun in Splatoon that's also sort of like this. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure. But like the gun in Splatoon shoots like a giant ball of ink that has a big area of effect. And splat guns are sort of similar to this, in that they... Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm trying to lay down comfortably on my bed and it's just not fucking working. I'm trying to find a comfortable way to lay without like crushing my mic somehow. Because I usually just lay on my stomach because for some reason it feels better. But yeah. Fuck, back to what I was saying. But yeah, splat guns, they shoot this like sort of wet projectile, I guess. It's like a giant ball of paint, I guess, and then it splats on an enemy. And if like there's a bunch of enemies bunched up together, then it's actually kind of effective in that it has a blast radius. And I really only like acidic splat guns, because for some fucking weird ass reason, I think acidic splat guns do like some crazy shit ton of damage to loaders, and that is just so satisfying. It's weird. I don't really like fire ones though. I feel like fire shotguns, there's more variety of possible fire shotguns. Like I think the Octo, which is basically the shotgun that gives you a guaranteed fucking critical hit. As long as your enemy doesn't like move too much or whatever. And then there's also the Heartbreaker, which is just it's crazy good. It's a Moxie weapon, so you get healed for using it. But yeah, I think E-Tech splat guns, the best are acidic. The worst are fire, but for the most part, I like them a lot. Next, I think I'm gonna I'll talk about SMGs. They're called plasma casters, and I think the projectiles aren't as fast, but they shoot like these balls of plasma, like these just like chunks of energy. It's sort of weird. It's not like anything from Star Wars, but it's just these like big puffs of energy, and they do pretty good damage. Tediore and Hyperion definitely make the best ones. I don't like the doll ones because I just can't deal with the goddamn burst fire on them. It's just such a hindrance to normal automatic fire. And Tediore plasma casters, you have all that extra ammo. Like, there's like a huge amount of ammo in a Tediore plasma caster. So they're really good for Axton, in that if you throw them at an enemy, you'll get bonus grenade damage from them being a Tediore weapon, and they all, you know, explode like a grenade when they're thrown and reloaded. But you also have this just crazy, weird damage boost. It's so good. But I like Hyperion plasma casters more for somebody like either Maya or Salvador, because Salvador can use these really well to just whittle away somebody's shield, and depending on whatever elemental type they're vulnerable to, he can wield like a shock variant and a fire variant. And you can just whittle their health away with the shock one while he, you know, sets them on fire with the fire plasma caster. While also being extremely accurate because they're Hyperion. But Maya, since she's so good elementally and with SMGs, you know, it's just a match made in fucking heaven. The next E-Tech gun is the pistol. And these are the worst E-Tech guns out of all of them. I think I said assault rifles are, but pistols are the worst, like 100%. I'm not changing my mind about this. Fuck E-Tech pistols. All of them are just different sorts of variants of, I think it was called the Needler, but it's the Needler from Halo in a pistol. And my, when I say they suck, I mean they fucking suck. They are garbage. They're good in normal mode for a little while, and then they're never, ever good again. Not on any fucking character. Because you can't crit with them. There's no possible way. It takes actual time in between the projectile hitting and you know, in between the projectile hitting and the damage the damage sort of activating, I guess. The damage being taken and the projectile's initial impact. There's like a second or 2 seconds of time in between that. It's something stupid and ridiculous, and I fucking hate it. But I don't really have much else to say about them. They're just trash. Fucking trash. But lastly, I want to talk about E-Tech rocket launchers. And oh my god. They are the fucking bomb. Literally, because, you know, rocket launchers shoot bombs. Explosive projectiles. That counts as a bomb. Fuck you. Laugh at my joke, please. Tediore ones I don't really like just because Tediore doesn't make good rocket launchers. I mean, they do like good E-Tech rocket launcher damage. But they're just so You know, they do reduced Tediore damage. And the only knack about them is you can throw them. You throw the rocket launcher when you're done with it, like an extra rocket. But it flies all over the place. It's really fucking stupid looking. But the best, if it's not legendary, the absolute fucking best Tediore rocket launcher, or E-Tech rocket launcher, is a Vladov Topnia. And basically, it's because you can sometimes maybe even make it ascend the strength of the Norfleet, which is the 100% best legendary weapon in the game. It does the most damage. And you know, it won't kill you when you use it, unlike when you use the pearlescent. By the way, you know I said pearlescent suck. The Tunguska, because the fucking Tunguska's area of effect kills like everything on the map, and you can kill your friends with it. So if you're not hiding behind like really tall cover, you're basically fucked if you shoot it. Anyways, why would you shoot it? It's so goddamn hard to get. You just sell it and have like max money or some shit, some crazy like that. But what the fuck ever. Yeah, what the fuck was I gonna say? Sorry about that. I was a yawn. But the Norfleet, yeah, it's the best one. But Totnias can substitute for Norfleets, because they're just like normal flat-off rocket launchers in that they have a good actual high fire rate. You know, they shoot sort of like maybe a little faster, maybe like, you know, that sounds like I'm fucking beating my meat. Okay, that's rip in peace. But yeah, they have a really good fire rate for a rocket launcher. And you can just make these fucking projectiles go everywhere. They have a huge area of effect. So you just fill a room with them, and you've already done a ton of damage. You know, everybody's shields are just gone, if you have a really good, especially if you have a shock one. But another really good one, which I'm pretty sure is Malawan, is the PBFG, which is, you know, it's a knack, or it's a throwback to the BFG, of course, from Doom, the first-person shooter, the OG. But yeah, it acts pretty much like a BFG. It has really high damage, but it does take a lot of ammo. It's sort, I guess you could say it's elemental, but the Norfleet is basically a PBFG times 3, because it shoots three giant E-Tech rocket launcher projectiles with increased damage compared to a normal Malawan E-Tech rocket launcher. So just imagine that. It's fucking crazy. I think I have a modded version from back when, oh god, it was so fucking long ago. Back when I used to play, Borderlands 2 a lot on my PS3. I had a set of modded weapons that I used all the time once I got to level 50. Especially when I started as level 50 as Krieg, because I didn't have any good gear. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to switch my sort of thing, my area that I'm in. But as Krieg, I didn't have any good weapons, so I had to actually resort, as a last resort, to using these modded weapons, and they served me well for like 10 levels. The old Unkempt Herald that I had probably had the potential. Yeah, here it is. Oh, yeah, I already spawned with them in. Okay, yeah, it's just a normal Norfleet pretty much. It's just got no texture. But yeah, this is the Norfleet that you would get from Hyperius, who is another example of a good boss. But yeah, this is what the Norfleet does. It shoots 3 huge projectiles, E-Tech rocket launcher. That's its thing, and they do a shitload of damage. But yeah. And I also have this Unkempt Herald that I used all the fucking time. I mean, this thing brought me up levels upon levels. And it's just a normal double penetrating Unkempt Herald. It's just got nothing better about it than, you know, this one. Except for, you know, I guess it has an increased magazine size and reload speed. but that's just because it's got different weapon parts compared to mine. Now this one, of course, is higher damage because this is level 60 fucking 2. You know, I farmed a shit ton of Torg tokens for this. And this, and then I figured out, holy shit, I'm not going to be able to use this during my goddamn fight with Piston. That was the dude that I had to kill. So what I had to do was I just used, because I've also had this modded grenade, the Shock Storm front. This thing still kills like level 60 something enemies instantly. I mean, it's got crazy high damage. And I'm very sure that it was like has increased damage, but every time I've gotten like in way too much fucking trouble, whenever you know that may happen, I've always been able to resort to just using this and just sort of saving my time, and you know my short fuse. Why does that sound like you could turn that into a dick joke? Short fuse. What the fuck, man? Whatever. Yeah, that basically covers the loot variety. But the very last thing that I want to talk about is the most toxic part of this video. And it's also the last part of this video, and it is how Borderlands 2, or no, Destiny, is a straight fucking ripoff of Borderlands. For one, you have a loot system with, you know, all of the different tiers. It's got that intergalactic spacey feel, you know. It's very sci-fi-esque. It's got graphics that I think Destiny's graphics tried to be really memorable, but it just didn't cut it. Like, I could look at a screenshot of Destiny on a planet that I've never been on, with a gun that I've never used from that game. Or like an area that I've never been to, I guess, because, you know what I'm talking about when I say planet I've never been on, but yeah, and an area I've never been to on any of the planets, with a gun I've never used, and the HUD is off. I would not be able to tell that it was Destiny. It has good graphics that are sort of, pretty memorable, but they're just nothing compared to Borderlands 2's fantastic cel-shaded art style. You could go any fucking place in this game, turn off the HUD, use any fucking gun that I haven't seen, which, you know, there's still millions of them, and I would automatically be able to tell that I am playing Borderlands 2. It's so fucking original. It's so great. It also tries to copy it based on the elements, the way it uses different elements. Like, it's got like solar, and it's got void, and solar tries to be fire, and void, I'm pretty sure, tries to be slag, but they just don't cut it compared to Borderlands' fantastic use of elements. Just all around greatness. It also, the real fucking kicker is how in the new Destiny game, Destiny 2, of course, they had the fucking nerve to add a cryo element. And guess what? Cryo came before it. Cryo element was introduced in Borderlands 3 years ago. In Borderlands, the pre-sequel. Whoop-de fucking shit. They're just Borderlands is basically spoon-feeding at ideas now. Next thing you know, Borderlands is gonna have, or no, Destiny is gonna have a fucking Telltale game. I feel like they also sort of tried to copy the sort of mystical ancient alien race thing somehow, somewhere. I feel like I remember that from playing Destiny. but something's coming to me like that. But it's just not quite there yet. It's on the tip of my tongue. And you know, it has all these different enemy factions like Borderlands does. You know, Borderlands has the loaders, and it has the Hyperion goons, and you know, but it also has the bandits, but it also has the animals, the wildlife of Borderlands. And now you also have like the Kell, and what the hell else was there in fucking Disney? I can't remember it. And I played it, the last time I played it was, you know, less than 2 months ago. So I know what I'm talking about when I fucking say it. It's just not quite coming to me, you know, but whatever. But Destiny's story is just so terribly convoluted. And it's so basic, you know, compared to Borderlands' story, which is very original and very good. It does have some sort of overused cliches in it, but it pulls them off really well, and it's very self-aware and comedic about them. And that's another thing about Borderlands. It's super comedic and funny. I mean, this game is funny as fuck. As long as you're sort of looking out for the comedy in it, it's hilarious. Because, you know, it's supposed to be a sort of lighthearted and cheery game, but you know, when you look into it a little more, it's really dark. Yeah. It also has a lot of lore, and Destiny really tries to create lore in the universe, but you just can't really get into it because the story in Destiny is so convoluted. But I feel like Destiny's sort of just kicking a dead horse with trying to make another first-person looter shooter. Like, I don't know. You can't really top Borderlands when it comes to that. Like, they're trying to make competition with Borderlands, but it's just not happening. Because Borderlands is the alpha. Borderlands is the fucking GOAT of the looter shooter. And you could say that Dead Island is also a copy of Borderlands, and to some extent you're right. But Dead Island, for one, it has a really good story, personally, I think. You know, it's not too cliche, not too overused. This sort of concept of a government-created zombie virus, yeah, that's been said and done, but it's pulled off so fucking well in Dead Island. I mean, crazy good. I sound like Donald Trump when I say that for some reason. I think it's because I'm repeating myself so goddamn much. Because I can't focus. Yeah, I need to get back. I need to take my fucking medicine. How late is it? Is it a new day? I feel like it is. I feel like I've been talking about this for like 4 fucking hours. Nope, just 1 hour. Actually, no, is that 2? Oh my god, I think I've been talking about this for like 2 fucking hours. Shit. What the fuck ever. I'm gonna keep going. Talking shit about Destiny. But yeah. Well, no, talking about Dead Island right now. But Dead Island did something new to the looter shooter genre by introducing zombies. And they did it really well. They took a lot of different elements from different sorts of games and combined it all into one really good game that I think is fucking great. I love Dead Island so much. I put so many hours into that game, especially more on my PS3, because I had a bunch of modded guns and you could do a bunch of funny shit with those. I probably finished that game 15 fucking times. It's real great. It's funny. It's fun. It's funny. You can do a lot of funny, stupid shit in the game. It's all around fun for everybody. It's also good to play online, kind of like Borderlands is, but you get really pissed when somebody steals your fucking loot. I'm talking about this a little too loudly, honestly. But yeah. And yeah, back to what I was saying about Dead Island taking really good aspects. They took, you know, Left 4 Dead had the idea of multiple different zombie concepts. Like ideas of zombies. Different forms. So Dead Island, you know, they have that concept, but they also have the looter shooter concept in the sense that you get your loot and shit, and you do the loot and stuff like that and stuff. But you know, Dead Island also has like classes, and while they are honestly less refined than in, you know, a game like Borderlands, where, you know, you can spec your characters different ways and shit like that, which I really think they should have added into the Dead Island remaster, just respecking. At least I think there should have been respecking somewhere along the lines. I don't quite remember. But yeah. Is there respecting Dead Island? I don't remember quite. Well, no, fucking shit. I need to play that in a little bit or something to refresh my memory. Whatever. But they also, you know, yeah, but they also have the, you know, idea of classes. And classes, you know, they are more focused, they're less focused on a team-based thing and more focused on yourself. Because the game is meant to be played with a team. It's a lot harder on your own. But it's still fun, it's still good. I think it's honestly fun. It's funnest with like 2 or 3 people rather than 4 people, but 4 people is also really fun. But yeah, it's also got, you know, the concept of very heavy melee from, I don't know, whatever. I don't know, maybe Dead Island is like the first zombie game to have really heavy melee. They sort of refined that and they made that super popular. Who the fuck knows? Whatever. Yeah. Because I know Left 4 Dead is a lot more focused on guns. It's also a lot more focused on a lot more hordes of zombies coming towards you. And Dead Island also has a sort of survival horror feel. And while there are a lot more zombies than, you know, a survival horror game, it does sort of have a lot of scattered around equipment that is actually good, like good guns and ammunition. Like those are super scarce, but guns are like super good in that game, you know. I wouldn't really call it a zombie or like a survival horror game, because Resident Evil is a survival horror game, and you play, you know, Dead Island, you play Resident Evil, and you see, oh, these are not similar like at all, except for the fact that they have zombies and guns and shit in them. And that's really about it. And, you know, the government created, well, no, Umbrella isn't a government organization, whatever. But yeah. What was I gonna say? Shit. Oh yeah, crafting in that game, like modifying your weapons. They made that really cool with like workbenches and shit. But damn, there's honestly not really much more for me to talk about. I mean, I'm sure there is, but I'm just not gonna cover it in this video. So yeah, I guess it's about time for an outro. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of a very bad review. I'm your host, Killer Meme Star. I'm not hosting anything. What the fuck? No. You know, feel free to like down below, share with your friends on social media, subscribe if you like me, comment what you thought of the video down below. Well, all that good shit. I don't even remember how I usually do this. I'm too tired, man. yeah, there will be more of these in the future. I plan on doing a movie next. It'll probably be Suicide Squad because I can talk a lot of shit about that. But I can also talk some good about it because I actually liked the movie. But enough on it. Enough on it. Yeah. Fucking whatever. All right. Goodbye.